Okay, there we go. Hello, Jacksonites, and welcome to take 2 of my top 15 favorite martial arts movies redo. Let's kind of jump in the bandwagon here and get to the point. Today I will be joined. Shut up, KPF. Just shut it. I don't want to fucking hear it. Don't even. I will shoot you in the ass, boy. Today I am joined by one of my favorite YouTubers of recent years. That'll be none other than TheUnagamer661. Once again, say hello.
Shut up, Sean. Everyone?
Shut up, Sean. You better not have recorded that. I will smack the shit out of you.
Oh, God.
And I will shoot you in the ass, too. Excuse me?
You have such great fans.
Yeah, I do, don't I? They're completely insensitive to my embarrassment. Anyway, so we're going to jump straight to the chase. I'm going to skip over the honorable mentions, so we'll just go right to the list. So once again, Unagamer, you may go first. I can't remember what your, except for one.
Okay, number 15 was The Karate Kid.
Karate Kid, okay.
The reason why this is number 15 and on my list is because this is what introduced me to the martial arts in the first place. This is what got me started as a martial artist, was seeing this movie and learning about karate and then wanting to learn it and bugging the hell out of my mom and my grandpa for about 2 years straight to let me learn. But yeah, it's definitely has a special place in my heart because I love the series. I loved all 3 movies. I pretend that the next Karate Kid never existed.
Really? Why?
I also it wasn't any good. It wasn't like it didn't have the same flair as the originals, as like the Karate Kid with Pat Morita and Ralph Macchio and William Zabka and all the other characters in the film, and also Hilary Swank.
Yeah. I actually, to this day, still have not seen the next Karate Kid.
Yeah, you're lucky. Just stay away from it. It's horrible. It's not a good movie.
Apparently, JT as We're Born likes Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that's another thing I liked about Karate Kid. I mean, it was such a successful series that it had an animated series,
which was very short-lived and very terrible.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that I still like to watch for just memory's sake and just like nostalgia. Yeah, but also like the series Cobra Kai, which was awesome. I really enjoyed the first season of Cobra Kai. I'm looking forward to just doing the thing again where I just put it on another credit card and get it for a month free and not renew because YouTube Premium sucks balls. That's the best. That's what I recommend. If you're going to get YouTube Premium to watch Cobra Kai, do what I did. Just get it on like a prepaid credit card. Make sure you have the money for it, so they'll know once the month's up you can pay for it at the end of the month. But you could just cancel and you'll still have it for about a month. And that's what I did. I just canceled right away so I can just watch Cobra Kai and not renewed when the month was up. And that's what I'm going to do next year when Cobra Kai Season 2 comes out because YouTube Premium sucks balls.
Well, my thoughts on The Karate Kid and Grimace and Gojira, I am eating pizza. Anyway, so I love the first Karate Kid. It's 80s classic. I got no problems with it. It's just it's a really fun, really, really well made, really classic movie. Karate Kid 2. It's my favorite of the series. I love Karate Kid Part 2. I think it improves upon everything in the first movie and then some. Karate Kid 3 sucks.
Yeah, it was kind of bad.
It's a massive rehash of the first movie, just with much less interesting villains.
Yeah.
Have not seen Next Karate Kid. Have not seen the animated series. I've seen parts of the remake, and aside from Jackie Chan as Mr. Miyagi, the movie's garbage. And of course, I have not and will not see Cobra Kai, unfortunately, unless they do decide to pull their head out of their ass and release it on DVD.
Yeah, I tweeted them when they said that they were not going to put it out on DVD. I said, if you guys had a brain in your head, you would put it out on DVD and Blu-ray, because no one's going to care to renew their subscription to YouTube Premium or YouTube Red because it sucks balls. We're basically going to, smart people like me are just going to do what we do and find a way to get it for free and not ever have to pay for it. By constantly getting prepaid credit cards and like putting a few bucks on it, then just do the week trial thing on that card, and then after that, the whole thing's over with, not renew it, and then spend the money on the prepaid credit card on something we actually enjoy or something cared about.
But yeah, Karate Kid's a classic. So my number 15 is Enter the Dragon. I gotta have at least one Bruce Lee movie on this list. Why not it be Bruce Lee's best movie? It's only fitting. So I do highly respect Bruce Lee. He technically is one of my favorite martial artists, but he is pretty low on the list, I'll admit. And of his few movies, I think Enter the Dragon is the only one that is really good. I just think the rest of his movies, he's good in it, but the movie around him sucks. But Enter the Dragon is the only one of his movies that I can actually watch the movie when Bruce Lee is not on screen and still enjoy it. The fight scenes are good. The fight choreography, for the time at least, is very competent. The story is simple and, well, not at the time, but nowadays it's cliche. It's pretty much the prelude to Mortal Kombat. But it's still fun. Overall, Enter the Dragon is a fine film. Very fine film. Very entertaining. And of the 70s era, it's probably the greatest martial arts movie ever made.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's sad that Bruce passed away before the movie could be released, because just imagine what would have happened for Bruce's career if he was still around today.
He'd probably be at the top of the world.
Oh, yeah. We would be seeing him at UFC fights, cheering on some of the fighters, because he was a fan of fighting tournaments, of contact sports like boxing and kickboxing and stuff like that. He loved watching that stuff, even though he really didn't compete himself. There were some footages that have showed their heads now of him fighting in a few competitions and kicking ass.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 15, Enter the Dragon. Number 14.
Nice. Okay, this one is kind of a rip-off of Enter the Dragon that was made up by a guy who claims to be a ninja and claims he was a former CIA operative, Mr. Frank Dukes. This is Bloodsport. This is another one that's from my childhood. This is why I like it so much, because it was another movie that inspired me as a child to really continue on in my training in the martial arts. When I first saw the movie and I thought it was based on a true story, not knowing that it was complete bullshit made up by a dude who obviously watched too many James Bond movies.
Really?
You know, when I was 8 when I think I was like 8 or 9 when I saw it. So yeah, I wasn't old enough to really know bullshit at the time. 8 and 9-year-olds are really easy to deceive, to be honest. Because I was still naive as a kid. When we're kids, we're naive. Let's face it. But yeah, as I got older and as I started doing more research, I found out that the whole thing was complete bullshit. But I still liked the movie overall because it did have some good fight scenes in the Kumite tournaments. And I don't know, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's all I can say. At that time, he was awesome. Okay.
I don't like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think he's a massive, giant prick. But
no, I know he is.
I will admit that the first Bloodsport movie, it's fairly good. It is fairly good. It's entertaining and it's competently made. Even though, yes, it is a big ripoff of Enter the Dragon, it's at least a good ripoff.
True, unlike some of the others.
Yes. So Bloodsport, I don't really care for it too much, but it's adequate at least. It's the best thing I could say about it. So my number 14 is Ong Bak 2. Despite Tony Jaa being one of my absolute favorite martial artists, only 2 of his movies are on this list. But regardless, Ong Bak 2 is not a sequel to the first Ong Bak, but it's in fact a prequel. And in fact, both Ong Bak 2 and 3 are a prequel to the first film. And interesting bit of trivia, Ong Bak 2 and 3 were apparently made as one whole movie, but they decided to cut it in half as 2 films. And thank God, because Ong Bak 3 is just garbage. But Ong Bak 2 is really, really good. Again, the story and the characters, they're paper thin. This is a big issue that I have with a lot of martial arts movies. But if you want to just go for balls to the wall, kick-ass, violent and gritty action, Ong Bak 2 is right up your alley. The entire last 38 minutes of the movie is just nothing but nonstop action. It's Tony Jaa goes from using a sword and a shield to using his bare hands to using a 3-section staff to a rope dart to a katana to a scimitar to his bare hands again. It is just utter carnage with skulls being caved in, elbows being snapped, rib cages being shattered, knees being shattered, legs being broken, flesh and throats and guts being torn open. It is just pure carnage, and it is awesome. Ong Bak 2 kicks a lot of damn ass.
Cool. I need to see those movies.
I recommend the first 2.
And just pretend part 3 never happened.
Yeah, pretend part 3 never happened because part 3 is so boring.
Okay, good to know.
So you're number 13.
Number 13 for me is Only the Strong. This is another movie that was directed by Shelton Lettich, much like Bloodsport. And Frank Dukes actually did do some fight choreography to this movie as well. But I think it was mostly the actors who did the fight choreography to the movie. Like it was in Bloodsport, where you could tell certain scenes were done by Jean-Claude Van Damme and certain ones were done by Frank. Because the ones that were the most simplest that any 5-year-old can do, that was what Frank did with choreography. That was what Frank choreographed. Yeah, choreographed. And then the ones that looked like professional martial artists could do that, those were the ones by Jean-Claude Van Damme or any other actor that was a martial artist in that film. But yeah, I like this movie because this is another movie from my childhood. And this movie actually introduced me to the style of capoeira. And
one of my favorite martial arts.
Yeah, it got me interested in wanting to learn the style. And I actually have a book on capoeira that I got at a at the one of those SPCA book sales. I got this one book by Stephen K. Hayes on ninjutsu, book on some swordsmanship and Japanese swordsmanship. I got these for like $10. 3 books for $10, and this would probably have cost me. Oh, this one's like $15 if I had bought it retail. So not too bad.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, it got me into wanting to learn about capoeira, and that's why it's on this list, because it introduced me to another martial art that I'm really fascinated by and want to hopefully study, not just through the books and videos, but through an actual teacher, because you can learn a little bit. Actually, you can learn a lot from books and videos, enough to understand the basics, to get a good understanding of the basics. And maybe if you have a background in a similar style, you could probably learn that style as well. Like, I could probably have learned Wing Chun through books and videos, since I had a background in Kung Fu Sun Tzu, but I also wanted to learn it through a master.
Kind of like the similarities between Taekwondo, Tang Soo Do, and Shotokan Karate.
Yeah. If you know something, like if you know a style that's very similar to one style, then yeah, you could probably learn it from books and videos. But yeah, but I definitely want to go out and find me a master in capoeira and learn capoeira from that qualified master as well. Because I mean, I've been reading through books and watching some videos on capoeira and how to do it. But to really truly learn the style, I have to go to a master and find one who's qualified to teach.
Well, hang on one second. KPF, if you're working on the ultimate Nick Jackson best moments video, I get the feeling that this video here may give you a couple of moments. So keep that in mind. I'm not so sure though. So anyway, my number 13 is Game of Death 2. Not going to go too much into the history with this one, but it is kind of infamous because it's infamous because of its predecessor, the first Game of Death, which was really the movie that I'm pretty sure it's the one that kickstarted the Bruceploitation genre, where you had a bunch of actors and directors who tried to keep up a facade that Bruce Lee was still alive by making movies that had Bruce Lee imitators in them, like Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee, Bruce Lie, Bruce Lying. Actually, it's pretty appropriate. Bruce Lying.
Yep. Actually, Jackie Chan was one of the Bruce Lee imitators too. That's how he kind of got his start.
Well, no, I heard that he got his start as one of Bruce Lee's stunt doubles.
He was actually one of the stunt doubles in the in Enter the Dragon.
Yep, not just he was in Fist of Fury. He was the guy who kicked the dude out of a dojo, but he's pretty infamous. He's the guy who in Enter the Dragon, when the camera zoomed in on Bruce Lee's face, he got his neck broken off screen.
Yeah, but yeah, also he was one of the fake Bruce Lees for a while, but then they decided to have him just use his real name and do actual movies.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, too. Excuse me. But yeah, so Game of Death 2, despite it technically being classified as a Bruceploitation movie, even going as far as to once again use footage from Bruce Lee's real funeral, insensitive much.
Yeah, I know.
They did that in the first Game of Death 2 as well, but still. Jesus, Sean, how many videos are you going to upload? Anyway, so Game of Death 2, it's one of the most entertaining movies I have ever seen in my life. I would go as far to say it's about 85% action on massive, massive, massive steroids. That 15% of story is just enough to keep your head from exploding like an atomic bomb. Game of Death 2 is just so, so, so entertaining. If you want fight scene after fight scene after fight scene after fight scene, that movie is right up your alley.
And well choreographed, I might add, too.
Very well choreographed.
Yep.
And the final fight goes on for, I think, about 15 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
This blows out. God, what was that Jackie Chan movie where the final fight was like 12 minutes long?
I forgot. But yeah, the one thing that kind of surprised me was who the main villain was at the end. When you find out who the main villain of Game of Death 2 was, I'm like, what? Him?
Yeah, that kind of does come out of nowhere, but still, it was a welcome surprise. God,
yeah, it's a nice little twist.
What was the name of that movie? I don't know. I'll have to look up later. It's gonna bug the shit out of me for the rest of the night. But
was the final fight scene with Benny Urquidez, or what is it, Benny the Jet?
No, that was
Dragons.
That was Dragons Forever.
Oh well, yeah. I thought it was called Twin Dragons.
Dragon Lord. Final fight in Dragon Lord.
Okay.
That was the one where. That was the one that was like 12 minutes long.
Okay.
I made a mini Godzilla documentary dedicated to Sean. Send me a link to that and I'll check it out, KPF. But anyway, so yeah, Game of Death 2, very entertaining movie. So you're number 12.
The Last Dragon. No.
I knew that was the one. No! 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 God damn it! No!
I don't know. It's cheesy. Yes, it's very cheesy, but it has a place in my heart. It's definitely one of my favorite movies from my childhood. I like the fight scenes. I like the story it told. It was a love letter to Bruce Lee, to be honest, but it was a good one. I liked some of the characters, like showing up. I thought he was entertaining. What was it? One of Leroy's students. I thought he was entertaining as hell as well. It had its cheesy moments, but it was still a good movie.
No, KPF, I am not jerking in the background. Jesus, boy.
If he was, damn, he came pretty fast.
I'm not a fan of The Last Dragon. I mean, it's really cool that you like it. I just wasn't a fan. I thought it was a massive, massive, massive disappointment.
Also, I like that it introduced us to Ernie Reyes Jr.
Oh, yeah, Kino from TMNT 2.
Yep. Also, the Surf Ninja guy.
That's a terrible movie.
Yeah, at least that's not on the list.
I don't like Last Dragon. I almost said Last Jedi for a sec. Okay, so my number 12. I think I broke my glasses. Okay, good. No, I didn't. My number 12, Muay Thai Samurai, aka Yamada, the Ayutthaya Samurai, also known as Muay Thai Warrior. I call it Muay Thai Samurai because that is a very, very, very descriptive title. Muay Thai Samurai is kind of a shut up, KPF and Sean. Jesus H. Christ. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Muay Thai Samurai is not a very recognized movie. This is, as far as I know, it's kind of an obscure martial arts movie. But I think it's sadly so because I think it's a very, very, very underrated martial arts movie. It has a simple story, but it is still engaging. It's got good characters, likable characters, fantastic martial arts scenes. Even though it's technically Muay Baran that they train in, Muay Thai and Muay Baran are very similar because Muay Thai is like the judo to Muay Baran's jiu-jitsu. They're very, very, very similar.
But have like subtle differences.
Yeah, they have very subtle differences, but they're still two of their own. They're very similar, but they're also different.
Well, at least both styles would be. We can agree that both styles would be better than Maui Thai. I'm sure you've heard of the so-called master in that style. I know, bad jokes. But don't tell me you actually fell for someone who claimed to be a teacher and that shit and learned it from him.
Evil. Jesus. But anyway, so it's got Muay Thai Samurai. It's got great characters, great fight scenes, beautiful cinematography. That's one thing I will give a martial arts movie credit, is if it has fantastic cinematography. It's got great colors too. The only thing that really keeps it down is its horrendous CG effects. That even though the movie came out in 2010, they look like PS1 graphics. They look truly terrible.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Wasn't it like the CG effects was a problem with the movie or something like that?
Really bad. Really, really, really bad. But still, Muay Thai Samurai is a very, very, very enjoyable movie. And if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it.
Cool.
So you're number 11.
Never Back Down.
Love that movie. Love that movie.
Definitely. Now this one I knew I remember we were talking about this earlier. And that, like, Never Back Down, I thought was a good movie. I know a lot of people thought it was just like a martial arts film that you take your girlfriend to because the main protagonist was one of those pretty boy character guy types. But you know, I like the character build in the movie, how he goes from an angry teen to becoming more of a better person through his training in martial arts.
That's what martial arts will do to you.
The final fight with the protagonist and the antagonist at the end of it, I thought the fight scene was good, and then how they kind of after the fight when they saw each other, how they're like you can see they're cool with each other now, and like no beef or anything like that. I like the way it ended it. I felt like there was no need for a sequel, even though they did make a part 2. And I didn't like part 2. I thought that one was just, it's horrific, honestly.
Apparently, Sean doesn't like Never Back Down with that Tom Cruise lookalike.
Oh, God. But no, part 2, I felt like the characters were not relatable. None of them were really relatable. There was one I kind of related to, but then he kind of turned into the bad guy in the film. I'm like, oh man, you ruined it. There's like, well, actually, there was another one that kind of did. I was relating to it as well. I liked another one's character, but he wasn't really the main character. The two main characters of the film, I just wanted to beat the heck out of. Like, yeah, especially the boxer guy in that movie. He was a cocky, arrogant son of a bitch that really needed to get an ass whooping and be humbled.
Well, I still would like to see part 3.
Yeah. I forgot about part 3. I forgot they made a part 3, but I'm hoping to see that one at some point.
Yep, me too. So, but yeah, I'm gonna save my thoughts on Never Back Down for later because it is also on my list. But so I'm gonna move on to my number 11. My number 11 is Ip Man 2.
Nice.
Now, as I said, I do like the entire Ip Man trilogy. I think they're all exceptionally made martial arts movies. But Ip Man 2, in my opinion, is the weakest link of the trilogy so far. There is Ip Man 4 coming out, which I am so excited for.
Heck yeah.
But Ip Man 2, really its biggest problem for me is it's really heavy-handed with its Chinese propaganda. I can understand why, because of the political climate at the time, at least when the movie takes place.
Yeah.
But still, I just think it's fine if you want to have that message, but it was just really heavy-handed in a few scenes, and it came off as being really preachy and really dated in my eyes.
Yeah.
But still,
I like the ending though. After he won the fight, and
that was a good little speech.
Yeah, definitely. I love the speech at the end because what he said was true. And I like the ending when we see the young Bruce Lee coming in wanting to train, and then Ip Man turns him down. It's like, come back when you're older or something like that.
Yep, that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though in real life at the time, Ip Man had already started training Bruce Lee. At least I think.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think I think 2 takes place in. I know 2 and 3 take place in the 50s, but I just can't remember when. Because
no, part 2 took place in the 40s.
Hang on, let me look. Because now I'm curious.
Yeah. Let me see. I got the
2.
movies.
Oh. Because I say this is because 1957 was when Ip Man started training Bruce Lee in Wing Chun. And Bruce Lee was 60 at the time.
Yeah, well, in Ip Man 2, Bruce Lee was a little kid.
Yes.
At that time. He was too young to have learned at that time. What the? God dang it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It is the 40s. You're right.
I thought so. Yeah, I was getting my movies because I got the Ip Man movie, the Ip Man trilogy. First 2 on DVD, third one on Blu-ray. Yeah, I thought so. I mean, I remember.
Okay.
Ip Man 1.
Ip Man 1 takes place in 39, I believe.
Yeah.
Then comes Ip Man 2, which I think is either 48 or 49.
Sometime around that, yeah. And then 3
is 1959, which is also historically inaccurate because, like I said, Ip Man started training Bruce Lee in 1957, not 59.
Yeah.
And god damn, I am so excited for Ip Man 4. I am so excited for that one.
Heck yeah. I think it should be good, honestly. But there's going to be some good fighting scenes, especially knowing that Scott Adkins is going to be in it.
Mm-hmm. And the plot does sound intriguing. Ip Man arrives in Seattle to work with his pupil Bruce Lee, who has decided to open a Wing Chun school. It's pretty vague, but no doubt that he will encounter some difficulty. We don't know what that means.
It was around that time when Bruce Lee was teaching Wing Chun to the whites and everyone else. A lot of Chinese people did not like that at the time.
Yep.
They really were upset with Bruce for teaching whites, blacks, Hispanics, anyone basically who wanted to learn the Chinese martial arts.
Yep, that is very true. So anyway, that being said, Ip Man 2 kicks a lot of ass. So you're number 10.
Number 10, The Protector 1 and 2. I put the series in here because I like the Protector movies. I like its story of a Muay Thai fighter who basically is raised on the old ways, and he lives his life by that moral code. And
it's kind of like Ong Bak.
Yeah, he really strongly believed in that moral code that he lived by. And he, doing what he could to protect the elephants, because that's what the protectors do. They protect elephants from poachers and people that just want to use them for this stupid shit. And because also, elephants are endangered species as well. But, you can see how much he loved that baby elephant when he was, trying to find it when it got kidnapped. And then also trying to track down his grandfather's elephant as well, that was killed later on, you find out.
And eaten.
Yep. That was sad, honestly. And then The Protector 2.
I've not
love
seen
that
Protector
one.
2.
What's up?
I have not seen Protector 2 yet.
Oh, dude. The fight choreography in part 2, one of the guys he fights with, dude is a straight badass. I'm going to say that flat out. Like,
yeah, Tony Jaa is a badass, no doubt.
Yeah. No, the dude that Tony Jaa is fighting in that movie.
Was he black?
Yep.
I have seen that fight scene, yes.
Yeah.
Actually puts up a good fight.
Heck yeah. I think he was like a Jeet Kune Do practitioner. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
It looked like, I don't know, it looked like either kickboxing or Shotokan.
Yeah. But I like the fight between that guy and Tony Jaa. I thought it was great in Protector 2. And I liked the story. I thought it was well put together. And especially the ending, with the ending of both movies. Especially Protector 1, the way it ended when the cop gave his interview with the press talking about Tony Jaa's character, saying he grew up in a time that we no longer live by, or something. I can't remember how he said it, but it was really well put.
The biggest thing I remember about that movie's ending is what we all call the bone-breaking scene.
Oh, God, yeah.
There is multiple moments during that fight scene where I'm cringing because those injuries look so bad.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I actually did count once. I think I reached 30 dudes that got fucked up during that scene.
Oh, man.
I'd have to rewatch it and recount, but I'm pretty sure it's around 30. But yeah, I like The Protector. I just think its story is really piss poor. Hang on one second.
Protector 2 was on Netflix for a while. If you have Netflix, see if it's on there.
I do not. Hello, Raiju. He is a newcomer on pizza. Thank you very much. So anyway, my number 10, Blade.
Nice.
Some may consider it to be, well, it's a superhero movie. It's not a martial arts movie. Wesley Snipes is a martial artist, a talented one at that.
Yep.
And there's a lot of fight scenes in the film, so I'm going to count it as a martial arts movie. Fuck you.
Yeah. Did you know that Wesley Snipes was actually supposed to fight Joe Rogan in the UFC?
I did not.
Yeah, they were. Was it back when Wesley Snipes had his tax evasion problems? They were actually going to set up a fight between Joe Rogan and Wesley Snipes, and that was actually supposed to pay his taxes, his unpaid taxes and everything. But there was too many problems, and they couldn't go through with the fight.
Raiju Kaiju just asked a question. Blade versus Hellboy. Who would win?
Blade.
I'd probably give it to Blade too, but Hellboy would put up a fight.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not saying that Blade would just run through Hellboy. Hell no. Blade would have his work cut out for him, but I still think that Blade would come out on top.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I love the first Blade movie. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. So it's in general one of my favorite films of all time. All too familiar with the original Blade comic, but from what I understand, like the rebooted version of Blade, it is very accurate to that. The fight scenes are great. The gore is awesome. The story is good. The music is great. The acting is great. The characters are great. Everything about the first Blade movie is freaking awesome. I love the first Blade movie so goddamn much. The only aspect about that really sucks are the CG effects.
Yeah. We gotta think that was 90s at the time.
True, but they use a lot of it, and it doesn't look that good. It doesn't age well. But outside this just shitty CG effects, Blade is an awesome flick.
Yeah, definitely.
So, did we get to your number 10?
What's up?
What was your number 10 again?
It was The Protector.
That
We're
was
on
it.
number
Okay.
9 now.
So you're number 9.
Yeah. My number 9 is the 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
I have seen that movie. I own it.
Yep, it's a classic. I own it as well. It's a classic. It's one of my favorites because this movie introduced me to Shaolin Kung Fu. And
Probably introduced a lot of people to Shaolin Kung Fu.
Yeah, that's why you're gonna notice certain movies introduced me to certain martial arts styles. Like I talked about how Only the Strong introduced me to capoeira, the Karate Kid introduced me to karate. This one introduced me to Shaolin Kung Fu. And number 3 is going to introduce me to a style as well, but I'll get that later. But yeah, this one is definitely a good movie with a good story. I like the story. It's about a guy who wanted to go to the Shaolin Temple, learn Kung Fu, and teach it to the people in his area so they can defend themselves against the Manchus. Because it's around that time where the Manchus were kind of asserting their power and basically throwing their weight around, saying, "Oh, you have to do as we say," and this and that, and da 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 da. And no one could stand up for themselves because they weren't trained to fight like the Manchus were.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like
What's
That sounds like Seven Samurai.
Huh.
Whatever.
Yep.
But Raiju Kaiji just said his number 1 favorite, or his number 1 martial arts movie is Kung Pao.
Oh, fuck you. That's a
Oh, that is an awful movie.
I hate those comic twists of kung fu movies like Kung Pao and Kung Hustle and whatever else.
Kung Fu Hustle was funny. It was like Kill Bill meets Looney Tunes. Oh my god, Kung Pao is just so terrible.
Honestly, whoever directed those movies needs to be penciled in for a visit from the Angel of Death.
But yeah, 36 Chamber of Shaolin. I like it, though my main issue with 36 Chamber of Shaolin, it feels like the setup of the setup for a bigger story. And I am aware that 36 Chamber has 2 sequels.
Yes, I've seen them. They're good.
Even though Gordon Liu plays the main character in all 3, even characters that he didn't play previously. It's also kind of a shame what happened to Gordon Liu later in his life.
Yeah.
I mean, and for those who don't know, what happened to Gordon Liu, he had a stroke, and he left his finances to be in charge of a friend of his, but that friend ended up screwing him over and putting
the friend was a shyster.
Yep. Took away his took all of his money, left him with pretty much nothing, and left him in an assisted living home thing. Mm-hmm.
That's messed up, honestly.
Yes. But this time, Gordon Liu is a very talented martial artist. And 36 Chamber of Shaolin, it's a good movie. I just feel like it's the setup of a setup. And every time I've seen the movie 3 times, and I just feel like I'm missing something. There should have been more added to this. I feel like it ends right as it gets good, like really, really good.
Yeah.
What do you get when you cross an owl with a bungee cord? What's that, Sean? Anyway, so my number 9. This is gonna stir some pots. The Last Samurai.
That was a good movie. I actually have that movie.
I do too. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. An owl with a bungee cord is your ass. What?
Lame.
But yes, Oh yeah, Last Samurai. Fantastic movie. Greatest samurai movie I have ever seen in my life. Greatest Tom Cruise movie I have ever seen in my life. Greatest movie with Ken Watanabe in it that I have ever seen in my life. I
Yeah,
freaking love The Last Samurai. It is a truly underrated, unsung masterpiece of a film in my eyes.
I love the film with Tom Cruise's character, Captain Nathan Alger,
Algren.
who was basically dealing with, you can kind of call it post-traumatic stress.
It
From
is
the war.
PTSD.
Yeah, from the Revolutionary War, killing all those Indians, and being haunted by it, being haunted by having to live with that, and just constantly drinking himself a stupor because of it. He just doesn't, because he doesn't want to remember none of this stuff. But then he's taken into held captive by samurais into their village, and while there, he starts to learn about the samurai arts. Uh, you know, where he's not allowed to drink. They did give him sake at first to get him drunk,
But that was some
then,
potent shit.
yeah, but after a while, they were like, no, you can't keep drinking your problems away, even though, like, she could see that he was haunted by this and it's tearing him up. She was like, he has to deal with these demons head on, kind of thing.
So, yep.
Because that's the only.
It's got fantastic characters, beautiful cinematography, utterly beautiful cinematography. Great characters, great acting, and not to mention fucking fantastic action scenes. My favorite scene in the entire movie, hands down, is the ninja raid.
Yeah.
We've all wanted to see ninjas versus samurai, and this movie delivers. And boy, does this movie deliver. Oh my god, Last Samurai is just an utterly amazing movie. I don't understand why Last Samurai gets so much hate.
Tom Cruise.
That might be it. But still,
Yeah.
Last Samurai is just an utterly beautiful movie.
Yeah, I especially like when they had their final battle on the battlefield.
Yep.
And then he killed that one. Tom Cruise killed that one guy he's been wanting to kill. But also just like at the ending of it as well, when he presented the sword to the emperor, and the emperor's realizing of like, what
my
have
teacher's
I done?
dead.
It's like I've turned my back on
my people.
Our culture. Exactly.
I will admit, though, that is probably my only problem with Last Samurai, and I'm actually going to address this now. So I'm just going to assume that a lot of people have seen The Last Samurai, so I'm just going to go from here. Katsumoto is the leader of the rebellion, but he was also the emperor's teacher.
Yeah.
How is it that instead of Omura being essentially the emperor's second hand, why isn't Katsumoto the emperor's second hand? Because especially at the time, teachers were highly respected in Japanese culture. In some ways, they were more beloved in Japanese culture than fathers. That's why a lot of teachers were also fathers, but you still see what I mean. Katsumoto being the emperor's teacher, but yet he still wasn't really in the loop with the emperor, really doesn't make sense to me.
No, I kind of see where you're coming from with that one.
But maybe there was just some kind of Japanese politics back then that I don't know about that kept Katsumoto from being the emperor's right-hand man. But it just, to me, you'd think that the emperor's right-hand man would be his teacher, because that's somebody who he
it's
could
usually
trust.
The politics to kind of screw that up, though, too.
True. But still, The Last Samurai is an utterly beautiful movie. It's a fantastic piece of cinematic filmmaking. It's just a fantastic piece of cinema in general. I love The Last Samurai. So you're number 8.
8, Jet Li's Fearless.
I have seen Fearless.
Yes. Okay, I was hoping you had seen this because I really love this movie, and I really like to talk about how at the end, where you can see the respect between Hu Wen-ja and the Japanese fighter that he fought at the end. You know, the respect that they had for each other. And at the final scene where, you know, he could tell he was dying, but he was like, I don't care. This is going to be my final end, but I welcome it with open arms. And when he was coming for that last punch, but he stopped himself because he could have killed him, and he knew it. And the guy that he did it to, he knew that he could have killed him then and there. And they were about to declare the guy the winner, but he was like, no, I didn't win. He did. I'm not going to take a win like this, because he knew if he would have taken the win, he would have done it on a lie. And he didn't want to do that because he still believed in the code of Bushido and the code of honor. And the part of that is not to lie and win based on some lie. Mm-hmm. And also the fact that he respected Hu Wen-ja so much. And it really told a good story. It had a good character development of like Hu Wen-ja's character when he first was teaching kung fu, or wushu, I should say. He was teaching wushu to his students, and he was very cocky and arrogant. And then when one of his students got beat up, he beat up the guy, or he killed the guy that did it. But then he found out that, one of his students was actually sleeping with the guy's mistress. And that's why he beat him up. But since he was so arrogant and hot-headed, he didn't wait to find out what the reason being why this guy beat up his student, and because of it, it got his daughter killed and his mother killed. They killed his family because of it, because he killed the other guy. And then he goes off and he wanders, and he finds himself again. And then now he competes in wushu, but now he wants to set things right and do things the right way, which I thought was a great thing. And then at the end, with the final fighting scenes, I thought it was beautiful. The way it ended was beautiful.
Bye, Raiju. Fearless. I'm not the biggest fan of Jet Li, I will admit. I respect him. He certainly is a good fighter. But I just can't connect with him the same way that I connect with other martial artists. Same thing goes for Jackie Chan. I respect Jackie Chan, and I do like Jackie Chan, but I'm just not the biggest fan. Same goes for Jet Li.
Understandable.
I still say Unleashed is the best movie that I've seen with Jet Li in. But Fearless, it's a good movie, but I can't deny I didn't like its ending. I didn't like that he died, because I did get attached to the character.
But then again, I mean, that's what actually happened to his character in real life. It's based on a true story.
And I will admit, Jackie Chan is the greatest stuntman who ever lived.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the craziest, because he's breaking bones I never thought you could possibly break.
Yes.
I remember I found out when James Rolfe did a thing on Jackie Chan. He talked about one of the bones that he broke. I'm like, you could actually break that?
Oh, was it his pelvis? Oh, wait, no. I didn't know you could dislocate your pelvis.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was. I didn't think that was physically possible.
For those who don't know, real quick, one of the stunt that nearly paralyzed Jackie Chan was in the first. Was it Police Story 1 or 2?
I think it was part 1.
Yeah, it was part 1, where Jackie Chan slid down a metal pole, breaking through a whole bunch of electrical lights, smashed through a glass ceiling, and hits the floor at least 60 to 100 feet. So not only did he get electrocuted on the way down and suffer serious injury to his back, he burned off all the skin on his hands and dislocated his pelvis in the process.
I didn't think that was physically possible, but Jackie Chan proved it is.
Yeah. Crazy motherfucker. But, you know, the arts...
I still wonder, how is he walking?
The arts keep you young, and the arts keep you fit.
Jackie Chan is living proof.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Donnie Yen, too.
Yep. Okay, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is the first Ong Bak.
Ah, nice.
So, of course, being Tony Jaa's breakout movie, I had to include it. It's the movie that made Muay Thai popular here in the States and brought Muay Thai to the mainstream. In fact, Tony Jaa in general was the guy who made Muay Thai popular. But overall, it's got kind of a weak story. But the story is decent. Again, it's very similar to The Protector, though The Protector came afterwards. But I think The Protector is a little more famous because Quentin Tarantino got his hands on it. But anyway, what I really like about Ong Bak is it's really the fight scenes. All of Tony Jaa's trademark techniques are showcased in the first Ong Bak, like the flying knee and elbow strike, the backflip kick, the flying knee strike. A lot of Tony Jaa's techniques are first showcased in Ong Bak, and it's got some of my favorite fight scenes of all time, especially the final fight with Tony Jaa versus the morphine addict Burmese boxer. The dude literally gets his head cracked, his rib cage caved in, and he's so hopped up on morphine he doesn't feel a damn thing. So much so that he's so pissed off he bursts a blood vessel in one of his eyes. And it finally doesn't take Tony Jaa jumping off a ledge and drop knee striking him through a floor till he finally dies.
Jeez. Even
after he gets his head cracked, the dude is still up and kicking. But yeah, the fight scenes are really, really brutal. Very entertaining, very well choreographed. Overall, the first Ong Bak is a great pleasure to watch. So, your number 7.
My number 7 is Best of the Best, starring Eric Roberts and Philip Reed.
Never saw it.
Okay, this one is definitely a really good movie. It tells a good story about a U.S. karate team that's scheduled to go to Korea and face the Korean team over there. And when they find out who their opponents are going to be for this competition, the main character, Tommy Lee, finds out his main opponent is Dae Han, which is actually played by his brother. His brother plays the antagonist, or yeah, you can call him the antagonist in a way. And Tommy Lee is basically haunted by who he's going to fight because the guy he's fighting killed his older brother in the same competition. And he's got to prepare for this. And he's kind of haunted because a part of him wants to kill this guy for killing his older brother in the competition. But then a part of him's like, doesn't know if he can live with it. And it comes down to when they face each other in the final fight, he has a chance to kill him. If he finishes him off, he could win the match. But then it was more of a spinning back kick.
Oh,
he was going to go for.
But you know what I mean. He's
yeah,
like he's at. I can kill you with this move right now, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, like. Yeah, Dae Han, you can see like he's barely standing. He's just like the Mortal Kombat scene, like the scene in Mortal Kombat when you finish him, where they're just like all confused and whatnot. And then you can see that he's ready. He's so ready. He's really tensed up and he's about to go for it. But then he's just like, I can't do it. So he spared his life instead, and just walked away and. He won, but then at the end, when Dae Han got his medal, he walked up towards Tommy and said, he apologized for killing his brother and thanked him for sparing his life and said, "You are my brother now." And he gave him his medal.
Did it get
and
any
then they hugged it
sequels?
out in the end. And I thought that was. What's up?
Did it get any sequels?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And the second one was good. I liked the second one because Daehan did make another appearance in the second one and came to help Tommy. And it did have something to do with underground fighting in the second one. It was more of an underground fighting. But the third and the fourth one.
Oh, no.
But I will say the saving grace for the fourth one is the main protagonist, the bad guy in it,
Antagonist.
was Jigsaw.
Tobin Bell.
Yep, he was the antagonist in Best of the Best 4. But he didn't have cancer. And he didn't kidnap Tommy and tell me when to play a game. Also, Ernie Hudson was in it. He was a cop in that one.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I know. You kind of think Ernie Hudson's a bad guy at first when you watch the movie, but then you realize, okay, no, he's a good guy. Cool. I like him.
So what's it called again? Best of the Best?
Yeah, Best of the Best. As Eric Roberts, Chris Penn, Sean's Penn, untalented brother, who passed away. Phil
Chris
Free,
Penn.
and Phil Free's. Oh, Ernie Hudson's, not Ernie Hudson. What's his name? Darth Vader, the guy who did the voice for Darth Vader.
That's a James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones.
Excuse me.
Yeah, James Earl Jones is the coach for the first movie.
Oh, it's a box office
he's
flop.
A prick.
Wow.
Yeah.
$5 million.
I liked it though.
But its box office was 1.7 million. Ouch.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, the rest of them were just straight to VHS.
Oh, I remember. I remember reading about these. Okay.
Yeah, you could probably find them at your local Walmart for like $5, maybe cheaper now. Actually, no, you can't find them at Walmart no more. You probably have to go on Amazon and find them for dirt cheap.
Interesting. So, my number 7 is Never Back Down.
Nice.
I loved Never Back Down. I didn't really think much of it, or I didn't really expect much going into Never Back Down, but I just found myself really engaged with Never Back Down. I thought it was a very pleasant surprise, to say the least. It's also the movie that made me truly appreciate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They use that a lot in Never Back Down.
Yeah, true.
And turns out my brother also likes that movie as well. And I swear the main actor of that movie looks so much like my brother.
Oh, man.
He disagrees with me, but I still say, dude, he looks like you. But anyway, Never Back Down. Actually, yeah, my brother does. More than I do. And he's younger than me. But yeah, Never Back Down. I went into it not really expecting much, and I came out of it thoroughly entertained, very impressed. I really, really, really enjoyed Never Back Down. I still do want to see part 3. I guess I'll check out part 2, but maybe in a couple thousand years.
Well, yeah, I forgot you don't have Netflix, so
no, I do not. But yeah, I really, really, really liked the first Never Back Down movie. Maybe appreciate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I really like the characters. Easily my favorite character is the teacher.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, too. He's a very underappreciated actor, but he's very well done. Okay, he plays the God, what Ronan's like second in command dude in the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Same
no, I
actor.
know who you're talking about. Yeah. Also, he was in the Fast and Furious movie. What was it? The sixth one, not the sixth one, the seventh. I forgot how many of these goddamn movies there were.
They're working on a number on the 9th plus a spin-off movie.
Balls.
Oh yeah, I just recently how do you pronounce that? DJ Man Honsu.
I think that's how it is.
It's an African name. I'm not. I'm not good with
I've seen him in
African
other
names.
movies too. I've
Anyway,
seen him in some other movies, and he's a good actor, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I actually recently watched the first Fast and Furious. Oh, Daimon Hansu. That's how you pronounce it. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
I saw the first Fast and Furious movie not too long ago. And all I have is to say is this. How the fuck did this spawn a franchise?
Paul Walker.
Probably. Even though he's not very good in it.
Yeah. It's sad how he died.
I will agree with that, yes. It's painful irony. But anyway, so yeah, I like Never Back Down. I thought it was a very, very well-made movie. I came out of it very pleasantly surprised. So you're number 7.
Undisputed 2.
Oh, I love that movie. Oh, that's such a great film.
This film introduced me to Scott Adkins, the badass. I mean, he was awesome in that movie as Yuri Boyka. I loved that character. And I like the spin-offs of Undisputed 2 with Undisputed 3. I love that movie. I thought it was great. Even though, not many people bought the DVD, they mostly bootlegged it.
Yep.
I actually went out and bought it.
So did I.
DVD. Because I support Scott Adkins. I think he's awesome. I need to get Yuri Boyka Undisputed 4. I seen that one. I didn't like it as much.
Neither did I, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it and whatnot, but I kind of wish it would have had a better ending than it did.
Yeah, me too. That's probably my biggest issue. I've reviewed all 4, if you're interested in checking those out.
Oh, nice. I might have to do that. But yeah, I really like Boyka's character and was hoping for more for the guy. But yeah.
Anyway, back to 2.
Yeah, Undisputed 2 was awesome. With the character development for Michael J. White's character, as he plays George the Iceman Chambers, which was originally played by Ving Rhames. Yeah, from the first Undisputed when he faced Wesley Snipes in the boxing match. Honestly, I kind of felt like they should have just did a different character instead of him playing as Ving Rhames' character. But it is what it is.
Michael J. White still did a great job.
Yeah, he started off as a prick in the beginning.
Then he just got used to him.
As he goes into the Russian prison and he kind of sees how they are and how they kind of care for one another and whatnot, he realizes, maybe I should stop being such a cocky, arrogant prick and stop being a jerk all the time like I was in the first movie. And it kind of taught him a lesson, and he became a better person. And he started learning martial arts through the old man in the wheelchair. And I really like the ending to it. The ending kind of brought a little tear to my eye because of what he did for that man that taught him to help him beat Boyka.
Yeah, Undisputed 2 is a great movie. I'm not going to talk much about it because I have reviewed it, and my thoughts on the film haven't changed. But yeah, Undisputed 2 is a kick-ass movie.
Hell yeah. So you can't. I have to put that in my list.
So what's wait? Was that your number 6?
Yeah, your turn now.
Okay, hang on. Hold up. Let me delete something here. Okay. My number 6 is a sequel. But Who cares, right?
Yep.
Number 6, Ip Man 3.
Nice.
Oh my God, did Ip Man 3... Ip Man 3 is my favorite of the Ip Man trilogy. I'm just going to get that out right now. Even though in some ways I do prefer the first movie over 3, I think in terms of action, Ip Man 3 really delivers the goods.
Yeah. Actually, I like the fights in that one, especially with Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, of course.
Mike Tyson actually broke his hand in that fight.
He didn't break his hand. He fractured his pinky on one of Donnie Yen's elbows.
Yeah, when he was blocking with the elbows. But hey, it proved what my teacher Paul Vunak said, that the destructions, blocking with your elbows actually works. It proved his theory right.
Yep. That's why if you're boxing, one easy defense technique you can do is just do this.
Yep.
Give him a fistful of your elbow.
Yep.
Yeah, Ip Man 3, I'll admit one big problem is that it doesn't have a good villain. And Mike Tyson and Amy, I'm sorry, Mike Tyson can box, but he can't act.
No, he can't.
And what really bugged me about his character was that he kept switching from Cantonese and English in mid-sentence. Bothered the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But still, in terms of action, Ip Man 3 probably has the best choreographed fight scenes of the entire series.
Yeah, especially with the final fight between him and the other Wing Chun master,
Chang Tin-Chi, which I am so excited for that character's spin-off movie too. That's they're gonna be
sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna have Tony Jaa and Dave Bautista in it.
Oh fuck!
I like Bautista though. Come on.
Oh god, I hate Batista.
Can't deny he's a really good Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah, true.
Even though I don't like that version of Drax.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Ip Man 3. I think it's one of Donnie Yen's best movies. It's got some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. It makes me want to learn Wing Chun the most. Ip Man 3 is awesome.
Yeah. But what was it? Yeah, I think one of the reasons why the fighting was so good is because they had the guy who did the fight choreography for The Matrix do that fight choreography for Ip Man 3.
Yin Wu Ping, I think his name was.
Yeah, I think that was it. But yeah, he was the one who did the fight choreography for Ip Man 3. And yeah, he's a really good fight choreography. If you ever seen his fight choreography in the Matrix movies, which I hate the Matrix, but
I do too. I think those movies are vastly overrated.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, the guy who did the fight choreography of the Matrix, he didn't want to do those fight choreographies. He tried to avoid it at all costs. He came up with thing after thing because he didn't like it. He didn't like the scripts. When he read it, he was like, "Oh God, they want me to do fight scene for this."
I will admit, though, the fight scenes in the Matrix are very well done.
Yeah, but what he did, so when he didn't want to just turn it down and be rude. So what he did, he first said, "Okay, you want me to do the fight choreography? You're going to have to pay me this much money." And it was like he demanded a ridiculous amount of money, thinking, "Oh, they're not going to pay this much for me to do the fight choreography."
And they did it anyway.
Yeah, you're like, all right. So then he came up and said, "Okay, I want the actors to take martial arts lessons for this." And they thought, "Oh, okay, that's what they do in China." So he's like, "God damn." So he was like, "All right, I'll do it." He didn't want to go for a third one, so he was like,
So yeah, Ip Man 3, kick-ass movie.
Yeah, definitely.
So number 5, we're in the top 5 now. Now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yep. Okay, for me, number 5, Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury.
Oh.
AKA the Chinese Connection.
Oh. Just why?
Because this is actually kind of a true-to-life martial arts film of what it's like training in martial arts schools. A lot at that time, it was, "Oh, my style is better than yours," or "Your style is better, your style is inferior to mine," kind of thing. And that's what you would see. Like when I was a kid, there were certain times where people would come dojo storming into my school like that and would challenge my sensei and whatnot to see if he was, uh, a good and whatnot. And that's how it was. Or even like the Count Dante days, when Count Dante went dojo storming with his students into another rival school, which of course led to the death of his friend. But yeah, that's what it was like at that at some time at those times. Those movies that movie was made. There was stuff like that going on, and around the timeline that this movie was based on, that's stuff that was actually happening. Also, I like the fight choreography, like when Bruce Lee had the nunchaku and was hitting everyone's foot in the dojo and breaking their feet. And it's also based on the life of Hu Wen Jia, and their kind of story of what they believe happened and why he was poisoned.
I'm not the biggest fan of Fist of Fury. The only scene that I do like is the dojo scene. I'll admit. I think that's probably the best scene in the film. But other than that, I just didn't care for it. I thought it was too bleak, too depressing. I hated the ending. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, I will say the ending did kind of suck. I mean, it's.
But if you like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
So my number 5.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I have to have at least one Bruce Lee film in this top 10.
My number 5, Blade 2.
Cool.
I'm one of those people who thinks that Blade 2 is in every single way better than its predecessor. Not to say that the Blade 1 is bad. I kind of see it as an Alien and Aliens type situation. Aliens took everything that was good about... hang on, I gotta close my window. Aliens took everything that was good about the original Alien and just beefed the ever-living shit out of it. Blade 2 takes everything that was good about the first Blade movie and beefs the ever-living shit out of it. Better fight scenes, better story, better characters, better action, better CG.
And of course, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Donnie Yen is in it, even though he's in like 3 scenes. He doesn't speak a word of dialogue. And also, speaking of Donnie Yen, he does the fight choreography for the film.
Nice.
Awesome! Blade 2 is just a fantastic film. In every which way, shape, or form, it is a perfect film in my eyes. I actually might have to watch Blade 2 tonight.
Yeah, after talking about Best of the Best, I might probably watch that tonight as well. Like,
love Blade 2.
Talking about some of these movies kind of makes me want to watch some of these movies, actually, after talking about them.
So yeah, enough said. Blade 2 is awesome.
Cool.
So you're number 4.
For me, number 4 is Return to the 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
The first of the 2 sequels.
Yep. This one, honestly, was, in my opinion, a good film. I liked it much better than the first one. This, in my opinion, is actually the original Karate Kid. This is kind of what inspired the Karate Kid because of the character in the film. It starts off where this guy, he's an actor, and the townspeople kind of pay him to pretend to be a Shaolin monk to help them with the Manchus because they're taking their jobs or having them work these horrible jobs and paying them less than they were getting paid for their jobs and were paying originally. Like, they took over their workspace and forced them to pay work for even less money. And then since they couldn't fight because they're not trained to face the Manchus, they had this guy who they knew was an actor to pretend to be a Shaolin monk to get, scare off the Manchus so they could get their jobs money, the wages back from where they were working. Of course, the Manchus saw through it and beat the ever living shit out of the poor guy. But he was lucky they just beat him up and let him live instead of just killing him. So he goes to Shaolin Temple. He actually finds a way to sneak in, but of course is quickly discovered by the main character from the first movie, and he works out a deal with him, saying, "Okay, if you make a scaffold all around all around this temple, you will learn kung fu. By the time you're done, you will know kung fu." So he goes ahead and he makes the scaffold and everything, and while going over to doing this for a long period of time, I might add, it took him almost a year, I believe, to make that. While doing that for a year, he's watching the monks train, and he's even imitating the moves from what he sees from them doing, and kind of finding his own way to do the training as well while making the scalpel. And by the time he was done, the character tells him, "Okay, you're done. Now tear it down and go back home." And he was thinking, like, "Weren't you going to teach me kung fu?" He was like, "No, you go back home, tear it down and go back home." He wasn't realizing that he was able to defend himself against the main character of the film, or the first film. He was doing good, but he's not realizing that he had learned kung fu because of from imitating what he saw from the monks, and doing the work with all that muscle confusion and muscle memory. That's what it was, muscle memory, and getting himself strong by doing all that heavy labor. But then when he comes back, he's sad at himself because he doesn't realize he knows kung fu. He thinks he didn't learn a thing, and they could see that he's stronger. And then when he throws one of them, but not knowing that he threw them, they're like, "Wait a minute, he does know kung fu. He's just lying to us," and this and that. And then he finally realizes when they're attacking him, he's like, "Holy crap, I'm actually defending myself against you guys." And this and that. So then he comes back and confronts the Manchus that beat him up to begin with, and this time actually wins. I mean, it's not one of the fights where he just goes right through them and just tears them all apart. I mean, he does struggle a couple of times during the fights, but he does come out the victor this time around.
Interesting. I'll have to actually pick it up next time when I go to FYE.
Definitely.
That does sound like a good sequel.
Yeah, it's hard to find. I will say that it's kind of hard to find. I'm still looking for it. I ended up watching it through YouTube.
None of the Nick Jackson memes, cinematic trash. I will destroy you. I will utterly destroy you. So, my number 4, Ninja 2. I almost had Ninja Assassin on here. In fact, I'm going to put that in my honorable mentions list. But Ninja 2 ultimately beat it out because, oh my God, is Ninja 2 such a great fucking movie. I do like the first Ninja. I will admit. I did like the first Ninja. The fight scenes were good. The story was decent. But overall, I do prefer Ninja 2. I think the fight scenes are a lot gorier. They're a lot more violent. They're a lot more fast-paced. They're a lot more frequent. The story is a lot simple. I like violent revenge movies, I will admit.
Yeah.
And Ninja 2 is right up my alley. Overall, Ninja 2, I don't have that much to say about it, but Ninja 2 really kicked ass. And once again, outside of the Undisputed movies, I think it might be Scott Adkins' best movie.
I can see that, yeah.
Big words, I know, but still. Ninja 2 kicks ass.
Yeah, I like the Ninja 1. I have the first one on Blu-ray. I need to get the second one as well.
Second one really kicks ass. Really, really kicks
ass. Yeah, I've seen the second one. I actually watched it on Netflix.
Kicks ass. So, what's your number 3?
The original Kickboxer, part 1 and 2. Just the first 2, because the one, it was okay. Fourth one, I like that Tom Poe came back in the fourth one. Fifth one.
Oh my God, there's 5. Wait, was that
Yes.
like was that the one where Mike Tyson was in it?
No.
Or is that
he was.
6?
I think he was in the second one of the remake.
Oh, it might have been the remake then, because I know it came out recently.
Yeah, well, this one was like Kickboxer. The part 5, it had what's his name? The guy who does the Crow in the TV show Crow Salvation.
Oh,
Mark.
That was Stairway to Heaven, but that was Mark Dacascos.
Yeah. Well, actually, Mark, however you put the damn name, he was actually the main character in Only the Strong. But yeah, anyways, Kickboxer 1 and 2, I love those movies. Jean-Claude Van Damme classic, of course. And also, this movie introduced me to Muay Thai. This is what got me to want to learn Muay Thai. And I know you said that Ambach brought Muay Thai to America. I honestly think it was Kickboxer and Kickboxer 2 that did, in my opinion. Well, for me, it was. For me, it introduced me to Muay Thai, which is why it's in the list. It's definitely a great film.
Ong Bak brought it to. Ong Bak brought Kickboxer showed off Muay Thai, yes, but Ong Bak brought Muay Thai to the mainstream. Kickboxer did not.
Yeah, kind of debatable, but yeah, I like the Kickboxer franchise though, especially the second one. With it was like the third Sloan brother, played by the guy who played as Cody in Step by Step. I forgot his name, Sasha Mitchell or something like that, or I forgot. But yeah, I thought he did a good job in the second one. Kind of living in his brother's shadows, thinking he wasn't as good as Eric or Kurt. And then he had to end up facing Tom Poe at the end because of like Tom Poe killed Jean-Claude Van Damme and the other guy because of his loss to Jean-Claude Van Damme's character in the first one. He got a gun and he shot them, making it impossible to regain their honor, or for making it possible for Tom Poe to regain his honor, until he found out about the third Sloan brother. And in those traditions, when the father couldn't fight, the son would take his place during the war. If the father couldn't fight the war, then the son would in his place to preserve the family's honor. And that's how they kind of went with that one, since Kurt couldn't fight anymore because Tom Poe killed them in a dishonorable way. They would get the third brother to fight instead in the place. But of course.
Oh, and cinematic trash. You asked me to destroy you. How? I have my ways. I guess I'll have to kick out. Yeah, literally. Check out the Kickboxer Brothers. Kickboxer Brothers. Wow, the Kickboxer movies sometime.
Yep. Part 2 is good. Part 3 it's pretty good, but not as good as the second and first. The fourth one, like I said, it's cool that Tom Poe is back in the fourth one, but I don't know. But yeah, the fifth one, God, that was horrible.
My number 3 is another martial arts movie that I went into where I wasn't expecting much, but I came out of it really pleasantly surprised. Blood and Bone.
Huh. Oh yeah, that's on Netflix. I have to check that out now.
Easily my favorite Michael Jai White martial arts movie, hands down. Excellent fight scenes, excellent characters, great music, a pretty decent story. Blood and Bone just kicks so much ass, it's not even funny. I don't really have that much to say about Blood and Bone, but goddamn does it kick a lot of ass. Blood and Bone kicks ass. Need I say more? So you're number 2. We're really in the nitty gritty here.
Okay, number 2 for me is Red Belt.
Never heard of it.
Oh God, this one is a really, really good movie. It is about a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor who runs a school, but with the samurai code. he believes in the code of Bushido and the code of honor and whatnot, and he really installs that into his students, and always trying to do the right thing, but he's always in a bad predicament because of it. No matter how hard he tries, it just something always happens for the guy. But he still tries to keep his head up because he believes in the old ways. He believes that there's still something known as honor in this world. And was it during the movie? He has no choice but to fight in order to because he needs the money basically. And when he's getting ready for his fight, he finds out that the fight is rigged. The way it is, because they have a certain thing. The way he does a school, the way he does it in his school, he had this thing where he would have 3 marbles. 2 were white and 1 was black. And if you got the black marble, you would have a handicap. And then he would have like a little twister thing where you spin and then see what your handicap would be. Either your handicap would be you were blindfolded, or you had your hands tied together. You couldn't use your legs. There was always some sort of handicap. Well, basically, they had that with this tournaments where they put that little thing in there. And he finds out that the fight is rigged for certain fighters to get the handicap to lose. And he tries to report it to the main guys, and like, we know it's rigged. We're the ones who are doing it. You weren't supposed to find out, but we'll cut you a deal and make it to where you fight. You don't get the handicap. All your opponents do, and you'll come out the winner of this tournament and win a lot of money. And he was like, I don't want to do that. I want to win my fights fair. I don't want to participate in this dishonorable event. And then he tries to basically expose the whole thing. And the bad guy of the film, he's the son of the inventor of this style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that he's a practitioner of. And he's telling them, don't expose me right now. Don't do this because you're gonna ruin my financial situation. I'm making a lot of money off of this. And then you see them fighting in the backstage, and then was it Randy Couture? He sees this fight, and he's like, "Hey, put the cameras on this right now." And they're showing the fight, and then you see the professor, the guy who invented this style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's watching the fight, and he sees the final fight between the two, and the good guy comes out on top. And then he's about to go to the ring to say everything, to expose, and then the professor, the inventor of this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, hands him his red belt, saying, "Thank you for preserving the honor of this style of Jiu-Jitsu," kind of thing. And what I loved about this, the professor, that's what he's basically called because he invented this style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is played by Danny Inosanto, Bruce Lee's student, the one that Bruce Lee selected to pass down the art of Jeet Kune Do.
I had to check this one out now.
Yeah, hold on a second.
I am very, very, very intrigued.
Yep. Oh, let me turn on this. But yeah, this right here, this is the movie Red Belt.
Yep, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Definitely, it's definitely a good movie. We're checking out. It has Tim Allen, Randy Couture. I don't know some of these names, but yeah, definitely an excellent film.
Well, my number 2, Ip Man. The first Ip Man is my number 2.
Nice.
What can I say about this movie? Well, a lot because I haven't reviewed it yet. Great story, great music, great cinematography, great characters. The fight scenes are freaking amazing. Specifically, the end fight with General Miura, and especially the Ten Karateka dojo fight.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Oh my god, that scene is so freaking awesome. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
Everything.
I know there's this martial arts buff. So, oh, that's impossible. You can never have done that. I know this, but still, it was awesome to watch. Just let
Yes.
me enjoy it.
Just let me
You
enjoy it.
fucking
Don't fucking
prick.
ruin my fun, you assholes.
Yeah, you miserable prick.
Yep. I really need to review those movies. So yeah, It Man, everything about the movie is solid. Literally everything about it is great. No problems with it whatsoever. It Man is an awesome, awesome movie. So our number one. Lay it on me.
Okay. The Ip Man trilogy. All three Ip Man movies, in my opinion, is number one for me. I couldn't put them in separate order for this top 15. I had to put them all together. Some are actually, you've noticed that some of the movies were in kind of that order though, like of the Protector 1 and 2 that was put in together for my number
I do a lot
10.
too.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved the Ip Man trilogy. I thought it was really well done, well put together. The stories, the characters. I especially like on Ip Man 2 how the one of the bad guys from part 1 came back in it, but this time he was kind of a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
When they were in prison, they're like, hold on 1 second, I've been death in this here ever since you hit me with that broomstick. So,
yep.
I mean, of course, he had a funny character in the first one too. Like when they fought in Ip Man's house, and he kept breaking shit. It's like, I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that.
Oh.
And then,
yep.
And then what was it? The little kid comes in rolling on his bike, like, "Mommy says you better start taking this fight seriously, or everything's gonna get broken."
Little brat, watch your mouth.
Oh man.
Yep, the Ip Man trilogy kicks a lot of ass.
Hell yeah.
Literally.
Definitely. I love the movies, the fighting, the storytelling,
Characters.
the characters. Like, yeah, the third one kind of really was sad for me how his wife passed away.
Yeah, it didn't bring a tear to my eye, but it was pretty emotional. So,
yeah.
my number one, Undisputed 3. Oh, no way. By Undisputed 3. Undisputed 3 is one of very few martial arts movies that I can sit down and watch anytime and watch it from beginning to end any day.
Yep.
I adore Undisputed 3 so goddamn much. It's not even funny. The characters are awesome. The cinematography is great. The fight scenes are fantastic. The music is great. Oh my god, everything about Undisputed 3 is just pure, unabashed, unadulterated, fun action, kick-assery.
I gotta tell you kind of a funny story with that one here. First time I saw Undisputed 3 was right when I bought it from FYE. Me and my girlfriend, we decided to go ahead and see what movies we could find. And she saw the cover of it, and she thought that Scott Adkins was hot in that movie, the way he looked and whatnot. And I'm like, oh Lord. So we watched it together. She didn't really like martial arts films. I don't think she still does. I don't know. I haven't really talked to Gabby in a long time. She got married and had a kid, but yeah. When when we saw that movie together, she loved it so much. And then later on that night when we were having sex, she called me Boyka. Oh God. She was like, "Fuck me, Boyka." I'm like, "Oh, what the?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No! Oh my god! No!
Oh god!
Oh my! No! 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 Oh no! Oh, you scarred me. Oh my God. Please help me. Oh no. Oh my God, it's just evil.
Well, at least the sex was good.
Oh God, no. No. Just no. So yeah, Undisputed 3 is my all-time favorite martial arts movie. So to reiterate, going back through the list, my number 15 was Enter the Dragon. Yours was
The Karate Kid.
My number 14 was Ong Bak 2. Yours was
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Part 1. Yeah.
13 was Game of Death 2 and
Only the Strong.
Only the Strong. 12 for me was Muay Thai Samurai, and you were
The Last Dragon.
Ugh.
You are the last dragon.
No.
You possess the power of the glow.
No. Just
I know I'm an evil son of a bitch.
No. 11 was Ip Man 2.
Mine was Never Back Down.
10 was Blade.
The Protector.
1 and 2.
Yep.
9 was Last Samurai.
Mine was the 36th Chamber of Shaolin. The first one.
8 was Ong Bak.
And mine was Fearless.
7 was Never Back Down.
Best of the best.
6 was Ip Man 3.
Undisputed 2.
5 was Blade 2 and
Fist of Fury.
Fierce of Fury. 4 was Ninja 2 and
Return to the 36th Chamber.
3 was Blood Boxer 1 and 2 for you. Remember that one. 2 for me was Ip Man, and you was
Red Belt.
And 1 was Undisputed 3, which you have now slightly
tarnished.
And for you,
Ip Trilogy.
Ip Man Trilogy. Okay. God, oh. E-Bill. So that was this video turned out to be a hell of a lot longer than I thought it would be. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video with your friends. Thank you to all who have stopped by to say hello and listen to me and Unagamer ramble on about our favorite movies where people with little tiny feet kick the shit out of people. Unagamer, you have anything to pimp out?
Be sure to check out my channel, TheUnagamer661. This Friday, I will be interviewing former MMA fighter Manny Reyes Jr., not to be confused with the actor Ernie Reyes Jr. I'm not sure if they're related, but I do plan on finding that out. Also, I do plan on finishing my wooden Wing Chun dummy project that I've been working on. I've been doing a couple of live streams working on that project as well. Yeah, be sure and check out my channel. If you want to go to my Spreadshirt and buy some of my shirts to help me have some money, feel more than free. I have some pretty cool shirts. My TheUnagamer661 T-shirt logo, the original one. My new logo T-shirt. Unagamer for President, and of course my YouTube Ninja shirt. That's I am not a ninja. I just play one on YouTube.
I'm a ninja. I'm a hoodie ninja. I'm a ninja. I'm a hoodie ninja. Real quick, hey KPF, how much longer until that video is done? And while that's being taken care of, thank you once again to those who have stopped by and listened. Unagamer and I will be doing a lot more videos together in the future. And a few days. Damn, I was hoping it would be done tonight.
I'll
maybe
definitely
tomorrow.
be looking forward to doing some more videos with you, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun today.
I had a lot of fun doing this too.
Traumatized you at the end.
Oh God, no! Just...
You want this boyka?
Oh my God, no! No. Evil.
It should have turned me off when she said that, but I was too much into it and it felt too good. So I'm like, I'll be a boyka.
I am the most complete fucker in the world. Anyway, so push the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Share this with your friends. Look forward to more stuff coming. Just going to kind of putter around until the start of September, or who knows, maybe I will start Gamerapalooza early. Who knows? And I will go out, and I will see you guys in the new one. God damn it, I can't fucking speak. Yeah. Your fucking Boyka stories fucked me up too much. Now go out and watch some martial arts movies and learn hand-to-hand combat. It really does have a lot of benefits for you. And I will see you guys in the next one. See ya. And stop telling me that goddamn Boyka story. Ugh.